Imagine a place where every wall holds a secret, whispering the darkest truths of the past. Tonight, Emma and Adam uncover the whispers of Westbrook High, but what they hear might just be the end of everything they thought they knew. Welcome back to Nightmare for Giggles, where the walls have ears and voices, echoing with the secrets of the past. I am the Tales Keeper, your guide through another terrifying chapter of Horror Highschool Nightmare Stories. Tonight, Emma and Adam are drawn into the very fabric of Westbrook High, where the walls themselves whisper of tragedies long buried. But as they listen, they'll find that some secrets are too dangerous to uncover, and the truth may be more terrifying than they ever imagined. So, put on your headphones, close your eyes, and prepare to hear the whispers that will haunt you long after the story ends. The victory in the gymnasium had given Emma and Adam a fleeting sense of triumph, but it was quickly overshadowed by the realization that their journey was far from over. The school was still alive, its dark energy pulsing through every corridor and classroom. The wraiths were gone, but their whispers lingered in Emma's mind, reminding her that the true battle was still ahead. As they made their way through the darkened halls of Westbrook High, a new sense of dread began to creep in. The walls seemed to close in around them, the shadows lengthening with every step. Emma couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched, that something unseen was following them. "Do you hear that?" Adam whispered, breaking the silence. Emma paused, straining to listen. At first, she heard nothing but the distant hum of the fluorescent lights overhead. But then faintly, she caught the sound of something. Whispers, low and indistinct, like a distant conversation just out of earshot. "I hear it," she replied, her voice trembling. "It's coming from the walls." They continued down the hallway, the whispers growing louder as they approached a section of the school that had been closed off for years. The doors were locked, the windows boarded up, but the whispers seemed to seep through the cracks, filling the air with a sense of unease. "This is where it started," Adam said, his voice filled with a mix of fear and determination. "The school's dark power, it's concentrated here." Emma nodded, her heart pounding in her chest. "We need to find out what the walls are trying to tell us." With a sense of trepidation, they approached one of the old, boarded-up classrooms. The door was heavy and splintered with age, but as Emma reached out to touch it, the whispers grew louder, more insistent. "It's like the walls are alive," she murmured, her hand hovering over the door. "Like they're trying to communicate with us." Adam swallowed hard. "Do we open it?" Emma hesitated, but then nodded. "We have to. We need to know what happened here." With a deep breath, she pushed the door open, the old wood creaking in protest. The room beyond was dark, the air thick with dust and the scent of decay. But as they stepped inside, the whispers grew louder, filling the room with an eerie chorus of voices. Emma's flashlight flickered as she scanned the room, her eyes catching on the walls, which were covered in old faded posters and peeling paint. But beneath the surface, she could see something else. Faint, almost invisible symbols etched into the plaster, pulsing with a dark, ominous energy. "Look at this," Adam said, pointing to one of the walls. "These symbols, they're the same as the ones in the ritual chamber." Emma's heart skipped a beat. "The school, it's been using these symbols to trap the spirits, to feed on them. The walls are soaked with their energy, their pain." As they examined the walls more closely, the whispers became clearer, the voices distinct and filled with emotion. It was as if the walls themselves were trying to tell them something, to reveal the truth that had been hidden for so long. But then, as they moved toward the center of the room, the whispers stopped abruptly, replaced by a deep, resonant silence that pressed down on them like a physical weight. Emma's breath caught in her throat as she felt the temperature drop, the air growing colder with each passing moment. The walls seemed to close in around them, the darkness thickening, as if the room itself were alive. "Emma," Adam's voice was barely above a whisper. "I think we're in danger." Before she could respond, the walls began to tremble, the symbols glowing with a dark, malevolent energy. The whispers returned, but this time they were louder, more frantic, as if the spirits trapped within the walls were trying to escape. Emma and Adam exchanged a panicked glance as the walls began to close in on them, the symbols pulsing with a blinding light. The air was thick with dark energy, and Emma could feel it pressing against her, threatening to overwhelm her. "We have to get out of here," Emma shouted, grabbing Adam's arm and pulling him toward the door. But as they reached the doorway, the walls erupted with a deafening roar, the symbols exploding with energy. The room was filled with a blinding light, and Emma felt herself being pulled into the walls, the darkness closing in around her. She struggled against the force, her mind racing as she tried to make sense of what was happening. The walls were alive, their voices a cacophony of pain and despair, and she could feel their energy pulling her in, trying to trap her within their twisted reality. But even as the darkness threatened to consume her, Emma refused to give up. She focused on the symbols, the lessons Ms. Grayson had taught her, and began to recite the incantation, her voice trembling with fear and determination. The symbols on the walls flared to life, the dark energy recoiling as her words filled the room. The air crackled with power, and Emma could feel the walls weakening, their grip on her loosening as the incantation took hold. But just as she thought they might escape, the whispers returned, louder and more desperate than ever. The walls trembled with rage, the symbols glowing brighter as the spirits trapped within them fought back, their pain and anger fueling the school's dark power. "Emma, we need to do something," Adam shouted, his voice filled with fear. Emma's mind raced as she tried to think of a way to break the wall's hold on them. The incantation was weakening the school's power, but it wasn't enough. The walls were too strong, their energy too deeply entrenched in the fabric of the building. And then, as the whispers reached a fever pitch, Emma realized what she had to do. She had to confront the spirits, to force them to reveal the truth that had been buried for so long. With a surge of determination, she stepped forward, her voice steady as she called out to the spirits. "Tell me what happened here. Show me the truth." The whispers faltered, the voices growing uncertain. The walls trembled, the symbols flickering as the spirits hesitated, their anger and pain warring with their desire to be heard. And then, with a final, desperate roar, the walls erupted with energy, and the room was filled with a blinding light. Emma closed her eyes, bracing herself for the impact. But instead of being pulled into the walls, she felt herself falling, the ground giving way beneath her feet. When she opened her eyes, she found herself standing in a different place. An old, dilapidated classroom, the walls covered in graffiti and broken glass. The air was thick with dust, and the floor was littered with debris. But this wasn't just any classroom. This was the classroom where it had all begun. "Emma, where are we?" Adam's voice was filled with confusion as he looked around the room. Emma's heart pounded in her chest as she took in their surroundings. I think this is a memory. The school is showing us what happened here." As they explored the room, the whispers returned, but this time they were different, softer, more subdued, as if the spirits were trying to guide them. Emma moved to the front of the room, where an old, dusty chalkboard hung on the wall. The symbols from the ritual were etched into the board, their lines faint but still visible. "This is where it all started," Emma said, her voice filled with realization. "The first ritual. It was performed here." Adam's eyes widened as he took in the scene. But why? What were they trying to do? Before Emma could answer, the whispers grew louder, and the room seemed to shimmer and shift, as if they were being pulled through time. Suddenly, the room was filled with people. Students, teachers, all gathered around the chalkboard, their faces filled with fear and anticipation. At the center of it all was the principal, his expression cold and determined as he began to recite the incantation. Emma and Adam watched in horror as the ritual unfolded before them. The symbols on the chalkboard flared to life, the air crackling with dark energy as the principal called forth the power of the school. But something went wrong. The energy spiraled out of control, the symbols glowing brighter and brighter until they exploded with a blinding light. The students screamed as they were pulled into the walls, their voices joining the chorus of whispers that now filled the room. Emma's heart ached as she watched the scene play out. The students were trapped, their spirits bound to the walls of the school, their pain and fear feeding the dark power that now controlled Westbrook High. "This is why the school is haunted," Emma whispered, tears filling her eyes. The ritual. It went wrong. The students were sacrificed, their spirits bound to the school, and now they're trapped, reliving their pain over and over again. Adam's face was pale as he took in the horror of what they had just witnessed. We have to stop this. We have to free them. Emma nodded, her resolve hardening. We will. But first, we need to find a way to break the ritual's hold on the school. The scene around them began to fade, the whispers growing softer as the memory dissolved. Emma and Adam found themselves back in the old classroom, the walls still pulsing with dark energy. But this time, they weren't afraid. They knew what they had to do. As they made their way back to the main part of the school, the whispers followed them. But now they were different, pleading, desperate, as if the spirits were begging for release. "We're going to help you," Emma murmured, her voice filled with determination. "We're going to set you free." When they reached the principal's office, the air was thick with tension. The door was slightly ajar, and as they stepped inside, they were greeted by the sight of the old leather-bound book they had found earlier, still resting on the desk. Emma approached the book, her fingers brushing over the cover. "This is it, the key to breaking the ritual." Adam stepped beside her, his voice filled with determination. "We're going to end this, once and for all." Together, they opened the book, their eyes scanning the ancient text. The symbols were familiar now, their meaning clear as they began to recite the incantation. The air crackled with energy as the ritual took hold, the symbols glowing with a bright, fierce light. The walls trembled, the whispers growing louder as the spirits sensed their impending release. But just as they reached the final words of the incantation, the ground shook violently and the room was filled with a deafening roar. The walls erupted with energy, the symbols flaring to life as the school fought back, its dark power surging in one final, desperate attempt to stop them. Emma and Adam held on, their voices strong as they completed the ritual. The light grew brighter, blinding in its intensity, until finally, with a deafening crack, the walls gave way, and the darkness was consumed by the light. When the light faded, Emma and Adam found themselves standing in the middle of the principal's office, the air still and calm. The whispers were gone, the dark energy that had filled the school dissipating like smoke. "It's over," Emma whispered, her voice filled with relief. "We did it." Adam nodded, a smile spreading across his face. "We set them free." As they left the office, the school felt different, lighter, less oppressive. The dark power that had controlled it for so long was gone, and the spirits trapped within its walls were finally at peace. But as they walked down the corridor, Emma couldn't shake the feeling that something was still watching them, that the school's secrets weren't entirely laid to rest. And as they stepped outside into the fresh air, the sun breaking through the clouds, Emma knew that their journey wasn't over. The final battle was still ahead, and the truth they had uncovered was only the beginning. You've just uncovered the whispers of Westbrook High with me, the Tales Keeper, here on Nightmare for Giggles. But the journey is far from over. The ritual may be broken, but the school's darkest secrets are still buried deep within its walls. As Emma and Adam prepare for the final confrontation, the stakes have never been higher, and the cost of failure could be their very souls. If you're ready to face the ultimate challenge and uncover the truth behind Westbrook High's haunted halls, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And until next time, remember, some whispers are better left unheard because the truth can be more terrifying than the nightmare itself.